I'll just get over this shit real quick. If you want a fucking definition about religion, I'll make it fucking quick, alright? Religion is basically a theory about the creation of life that is expressed and interpreted with metaphors and you've got Scientology that is studying theories and suspicions using experiments and studies to bring facts and evidence and they're trying to go as far as possible to have a better understanding, to use it today for the future. So in fact, you know, if science does reach the point where they reach the fucking Big Bang, still traveling light, in outer space, and bring back pictures of it, and that's gonna be what is gonna be actually the proof, the evidence and facts that the Big Bang and the energy and all the Scientology, you know, was one of the two that actually spoke the truth. So what do you think is gonna happen? What do you think? It's gonna be a fucking war. Because obviously, if one proves the truth, and then all of a sudden, the one that had a lot of fucking power throughout all the fucking years, suddenly, if it's taken by the book, they're gonna fucking go at war with one another. And I mean, heck, most likely people are gonna take the evidence and studies from Scientology as being more relevant. The only fucking problem with that is, you know, from the start, the base roots of religion is a theory. A theory, and it's being explained or illustrated and interpreted with metaphors, some sort of moral code or commitments and right and wrong, you know, and absolution and all of this. It's some sort of fictional, imaginary sort of a vision, let's say, that is expressed and thought and preached in a way to like tell a story or tell history with a certain logic and structure. To sort of fill the void of the existential fucking question about our fucking existence, our purpose, our mission, about our past, our present, our future, and afterlife and eternity. So that's one big fucking void that was just necessary to be filled up prior to start moving forward, instead of all stopping, freezing in place, and being unable to gather up and do something until we had a plausible or efficient fucking band-aid enough to temporarily patch up that deep fucking void that was wounding us, preventing us from becoming community or civilization. You know, like gather people together with common fucking goals and moral code and laws and rules, certain control, certain anti-chaos concept of a big fucking mac and cheese of good intentions and sort of shady and vicious, greedy, power-seeking strategy to shape structure of humanity into a triangle, defying the nature's balance circle of life and death, time and space. The only problem is religion or Scientology. I think we both want to keep it. We want to keep humanity in a fucking triangle shape. You know, they like it this way. They don't want it. You don't want it to fucking go back like that, because that means that there's gonna be equality. Equality means no control or power, and it's at last it's power to the people, because each individual contribute to the fucking perfect circle of life. This cycle that is basically a perfect ring chain circle, where each ring are attached to one another. And in the end, there is an ultimate balance that makes it so that every fucking ring part of that chain are contributing and keeping it the way it is equally. And that's a cycle that's eternal. And everything is just distributed equally within that circle and cycle. Rather than having a big ass fucking pyramid, which basically, well, foundations and the rock bottom of that pyramid is what keeps the high, thin, pointy peak of it. It's what's supporting it, keeping it in place. That means that the higher it gets, the less people there is, the more that they have control of the floor below. And that is fucking risky, because you know what? It's a high fucking pyramid. And that means that, in fact, they're way higher, and there's less people there. But if something happens down there, it could make the entire fucking pyramid collapse. So they need to keep a fucking control, to maintain a certain balance, constance, and stability. So you've got each floor that controls like the floor below, and in fact, well, they each control what's underneath, but none of them is actually controlling floor above. That's hierarchy. So every time you climb up to the next floor, you have leverage over what's going on under your feet, but until you reach the next floor above, You don't have no fucking leverage. Unless you fucking weaken that structure or that floor where it's at, and you either get thrown back down or you get lifted up. And it's been like that for a long ass fucking time. For something that is, you know, defying nature itself. That sort of fucking pyramid's been fucking... It's been working as a fucking circle and cycle for a long ass fucking time. And in fact, well, you know, like the base of it keeps enlarging, and the peak of it keeps getting higher as we're fucking overpopulating and saturating the surface of planet Earth with a presence of humanity and mankind. So, the big question, you know, existential looking question about the meaning of our existence. In the end, I mean, if religion or Scientology and the master of puppets that are trying to, you know, try to pull some strings to keep shit in control and test with the limit that the people below, you know, before they start risking to destroy the foundations and bring that fucking pyramid down to the ground. You've got politics. So in fact, I don't know. If you want to put it this way, there's a triangle within a triangle. So until we reach the floor where you've got the three we higher beyond reach. They're constantly trying to you know, maintain control what's going on below, because even if they don't really agree with each other always, they got one thing in common, is that each three of them, they don't want to fucking end up falling down and, you know, be part of this big shitload of broken fucking blocks and bricks, and everybody's on the same fucking level. And then, you know, now if that happens, And the best, we've seen that with 9/11, haven't we, right? The best way to take down a big ass fucking building, well, is straight from the foundations. At the one spot that actually holds most of the weight of the whole structure, where it's considered being at the lowest, or rock bottom. Well, it still is the most crucial section of the structure, which is why it's a double-sided blade. Because you can't have the submit without the base. It's a fucking pyramid. But once we reach a point where, we might realize that it doesn't make sense and it should be a fucking circle, it should be, everything is just part of the cycle. Not the base of it, not the center of it, not the peak of it. We're just all part of this big ass fucking circle and cycle in a different location, in a different fucking period. So in fact, well, we're all fucking equals, and we're all the same, and we all contribute to this perfect circle in a different time and space. And the key to keep it the way it is best, unaltered, most likely we'd like to say perfect, but I guess I'm skeptic about the fact that as soon as there's human intelligence present in a mathematical fucking equation, perfection just becomes the impossible. Now perfection and impossible is also just relevant to humanity and not the entire fucking universe. So yeah, that day that things turns to shit and it hits the fan, and these three in their smaller pyramid, Scientology, religion, government, politics, they all have their little contribution or their duty to control all the rest. Pyramid, the people, yeah. When power to the people has enough impact and that pyramid crumbles down to the ground, well, we can only hope that time and space is gonna be respected enough so we know better than to try to do better or challenge it, alter it, counter it, race it, control it, stop it, reverse it, fast forward it, recreate it. What the fuck, man? I hope that when this shit happens, that there's a possibility to take all the fucking bricks and all the matters that were used to build that fucking pyramid, this structure, that not only involves humanity, but everything that we alter, exploit, abuse, exterminate, modify, mass produce, mass distribute, mass destruct. I hope that if we do reach that point, while everybody's on the same fucking level, I mean, you may say that I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. So I hope someday if it goes to that, while everybody's on the same ground, someone throws the first brick to rebuild what was destroyed, and instead of repeating history and try to make a better, more logical pyramid, how about, each and everyone contributes to reshape it into a fucking circle, and everyone contributes to it, so that they realize that in fact every lives matter, just like every death matters, because in the end part of our contribution to the circle and cycle of life includes death, which plays a crucial part for future life to thrive. So of course, digging up and pumping out all of the remains of what was once life ended up returning to the soil as death matter. That for all these years contributed to ensure that life on Earth thrives. Pumping all that shit out and burning it so that we can have this illusion that we're actually are able to accelerate with thinking that we're gonna save time and be able to travel through more space in less time than if time and space is beyond and above our existence and control. This sort of acceleration and unnatural alteration of time and space is a counterbalance that leads to a return to balance, which means that something's gonna have to compensate. So if the whole period of time, let's say, that we burn down to propulse us into future quicker than not taking it for granted and burning it down, claiming that the death of yesterday belongs to the still living and the ones that might die tomorrow. Well, you've got human flaw mentality right there. And that's just talking about humanity. Because, you know what, a perfect circle and a ring chain of time and space and life contains the ultimate balance. I think all matters. No matter what type of matter it is still matter, so it matters. Equality. Eternity. So cheers to that. And so this was my little fucking theory, interpretation of a vision. So yeah, I won't call it a religion. No, I won't call it anything else but just an attempt to I don't know, use our right for freedom of speech, you know, liberty of expression through accessible social media. Be just honestly speaking our fucking mind without fearing to get fucking lawsuit or arrested or executed just because we dare to tell the people to imagine, or if there is a big war and suddenly just shifts in place because science did reach the still traveling light of the Big Bang, and now it's gonna be religion against Scientology, and there's people that are gonna be choosing to pick a side or pick the other, or they're gonna decide to let it be. So no matter what's your opinion, we all we all make our own decision. If you're gonna be fucking living for nothing, you wanna die for something, or do you want to live for something because you don't want to die for nothing? Would you rather die on your feet than live on your knees? To be or not to be? Are you gonna survive not really living until death? So then you just hope and have faith that because you did sacrifice the potential of living to bid on a better afterlife, or are you gonna not take any fucking risk or not gamble on a matter of life and death, and you're gonna live life until death, not assuming what's next? These are all fucking personal opinions, perspective, beliefs, theories, notion of knowledge. You know what? In the end, we're all shadows and dust. Caught up and drifting in the wind. Trapped in natural cycle of life and death that is beyond our control. The only leverage we have to alter this cycle lies within our fucking mind. And it requires a certain key to unlock this leverage. And that sort of knowledge is a fucking forbidden fruit or a poisoned apple. As tempting as it looks, as gorgeous and seems to be a great piece of art, sometimes nothing is quite it seems, and it might just be a fucking chore horse. But in the end, we're the masters of our own fucking mind and our own canvas as a fucking puppet. And no matter what they're gonna try to convince you about, you're still the one pulling your own fucking strings. And you're the one to blame for who you let convince you to pull certain strings as if they were the ones that did pull them. Even if you've got a fucking gun pointed to your fucking head, someone tells you to do something, or else he's gonna pull that trigger. As convincing as it seems, You're the one pulling the string. And take action. You're not obligated to pull that string. You're just being persuaded or convinced. And that's not being forced or obligated. So think for yourself. Question Atari. So if you have something you believe in, whether you're the only one to believe in it, well, to be or not to be, or go Nike upon thee, just do it. Cheers. One day at a time. You might wake up one day and say, hey, I'm loving it. Respect, quality, unity, power to the people, one for all. And all for one. Peace.